But in the meantime, I'll get to live in a spaceship. How cool is that? So I realize about now I'm probably going to lose about 300 subscribers. So, okay, sorry about that, but I wanted to get that out there so that I don't really get people confused.
Hello and welcome to, Carlin's Worlds. Yeah, that should work. I'm a wanderer, a tinkerer, sometimes a nomad, a military veteran. I do things differently. There will be tinkering. I have a motorcycle, a truck, and a school bus. I live off-grid, so there will be some solar, batteries, inverters, and maybe even some wind. It blows. And that's all I can fit into about 30 seconds. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. Cool. On with the show already.
Okay, happy Friday. Doesn't really matter what the date is. This will be a few days before I get this up. Anyway, I'm looking at some clips that I'm finishing up that are going to go up, and I really think I should do a quick explanation of what's going on so I don't really confuse people. Okay, so here it goes. I'll try to get this in one shot. Obviously, I'm living in a school bus, off-grid, somewhere in West Texas. A project that I've mentioned a couple times, but I haven't really explained very much yet. There's a story that I've been writing for a while now called Mars Clipper. That's a sci-fi spaceship, guy and his robot blasting through the universe kind of a story. All right. At some point when I was writing the story for Mars Clipper, I was visualizing how big would the spaceship be, and so at the time I was living in an apartment in Austin, and I actually started kind of mocking out in my living room how big the spaceship cockpit was supposed to be. That led to buying a bunch more computer monitors, and I actually kind of built out what the cockpit was going to look like. I'll talk about that more in a later clip. And then when I got the bus, and this wasn't exactly on purpose, but the bus ends up being about the right size and shape for parts of what the spaceship were going to be. And so going forward, when I talk about spaceship stuff and bus stuff in the same video clip, that's kind of what's going on. When I do my bus conversion, this bus is very likely never going to drive again. All right, I'm going to just leave it here on the property and live in it. If I end up building another place to live in, I'm still going to keep the bus and use that as my office where my computers and stuff will be, because I like the windows. It's like, you already got windows, it works pretty well for this, and I've kind of grown attached to it. So even if I do build I can't imagine building a real house, but building something else to live in, I'll keep this and it'll be my office and so on. Parts of the idea for Mars Clipper though is near term I'm going to be doing it as a web comic strip. Eventually I may start doing animation, and the ultimate pipe dream, for every science fiction geek, is to create his own actual movie, TV show, web series, YouTube series, possibly as live action. Okay. So when I'm looking at the school bus, and I'm thinking I want to do a bus conversion anyway, where most people would do a bus conversion is they would make it into a motorhome. My plan, because it actually works out better for what I'm looking at, I'm going to do my bus conversion into a spaceship, and that will be eventually at least the template for the set for if we ever get to do live action. But in the meantime, I'll get to live in a spaceship. How cool is that? So I realize about now I'm probably going to lose about 300 subscribers. So, okay, sorry about that, but I wanted to get that out there so that I don't really get people confused. There's a lot of crossover though, so if you bear with me on this, it might be interesting for you. All of the off-grid stuff that I'm doing, solar, batteries, 12-volt lighting, and so on, that works just as good for spaceships as it does for motorhome conversions, or bus conversions, or off-grid living, okay? So there's a lot of crossover. And all of the stuff that I've done so far was just basic survival. Okay, I needed solar panels because I needed power. I've got a generator, I've got solar panels, I can do lighting, I can run my microwave, I can run a deep freeze, I can run all my computers. The computers are pretty much the most important part. I've been out here for a year and a half and I have, computers set up, and I just recently set it up so that I have almost a bathroom and a shower inside the bus. So the computers have been set up for a year and a half. So you can kind of see where my priorities are. Okay, so parts of the clip, what I've got about 3 hours of footage, and I looked at it and I'm like, some people are going to think it's interesting, some people are not. Okay, so there's about 6 clips right now, maybe 7, of me taking apart the whole front of the inside of the bus. If you don't think that's interesting, just wait a little bit, I'll get back to something else, all right? But what I've done, and at this point it's actually partially done, the steering wheel has been removed and the whole front of the bus has been removed. And then I'm building out my spaceship cockpit in that area. What that has given me, or will have given me, it's not finished yet. Where I sit right now, this is where my computer desk is. This will get moved to the front of the bus. The front of the bus, the first 4 feet, have been wasted because how do you work around a steering wheel? So I've just kind of that's where I threw my jacket when I got home. Now, when this is done, move this up to the front, I've got about 12 feet of space. That was 2 computer workstations and a filing cabinet. That can move somewhere else. And then I've got literally a quarter of the bus will be empty that I can then start my conversion. Pull everything off the wall, take out windows, replace windows with something that I like better, maybe do insulation. When that section is done, I'll take the bed, move it to the newly finished part, do the same thing on the other side. Rebuild the bed. I kind of like the idea of sort of like a Murphy bed that, only it'll fold up sideways to the wall, and that'll give me usable space. Again, that's going to be built sort of in the spaceship motif, but there's a lot of parts of it that'll work just as well in a bus conversion for anybody else. Okay. This bus is very likely never going to drive again. So if I see something that I'm doing that really won't apply to anybody else, I'll just say, hey, this isn't going to apply. But you may still pick up something that's useful. When I took out all the wiring, there's a bunch of stuff that I'll never use. But there's a few lighting circuits that I can use. And so what I'll do is I'll mark them and I'll pull them out of the bus system and tie them into my system. All right, so that's that. I'm not going to go into that too much because there's 3 hours of footage that covers all that. So I guess my biggest thing I wanted to get out there is what I'm doing is very different from what most people are going to be doing. There's a lot of people that are going to look at this and they're like, okay, what happened to the off-grid living part? It's still here. It's just going to look a little different. Yeah, so there is going to be a lot of bus conversion between now and the end of the year. That some of it will be useful, some of it won't. Anything that's to do with Mars Clipper, which is the science fiction storyline that I'm working on, what I'll do is in the beginning of the title of each clip, I'll just say Mars Clipper dash whatever. Okay. So for instance, this series of clips that I'm talking about, I'm going to call it Spaceship School Bus Cockpit Conversion. Okay, and then there's one of whatever up to 5 or 6 or 7, depending on how I split it up. They're going to be about half an hour long each. And I thought, well, okay, some people will think that's really cool, some people won't. No big deal. Don't watch it if you don't like it. Just wait, you'll see something new coming out. But I thought, there was one video clip I put up earlier about Mars Clipper stuff that was me drawing one of the characters for the web comic. And I had a couple of people like, what the heck is this? Yeah, it's still me. For me, this is kind of why I'm out here, right? This is going forward. This is probably what I want to be doing. I looked at it as, okay, I'm 50 something now. I've been working for everybody else for a long time. I like doing my own stuff. This is something I enjoy. So I'm going to start doing it more. The storyline I've been writing off and on for about 10 years. Nobody's really seen anything of it. So looking at it now, I think what I want to do, release it a week at a time as the comic strip, and then people can see what it is. If nobody likes it, that's fine. I'll probably, just do it on my own. But if people do like it, great, right? And I'll be doing back and forth a lot. Anything that I've done for the bus conversion up until now, all of the solar stuff and everything, that totally ties to the spaceship. Going to Mars, I love this place because aside from the vegetation, it makes me think like I'm on Mars anyway. I'm out here all by myself. Yeah, I've got neighbors a mile away, but I don't really see them very often. So to me, it's not, there's not a clear line between, what people would call my delusional fantasy life and my real life, which is real anymore. I kind of like that. Anyway, so going forward, you're going to see stuff that's spaceship stuff and stuff that's off-grid living stuff. I'll try to market so that if you're just completely not interested in it, don't watch it. No big deal. There's still going to be a lot of off-grid stuff. All right? Okay, that's kind of it for now. I just wanted to say that because otherwise you get a lot of confused people, and no matter what you do, you're going to some people are going to like it, some people aren't going to like it. Okay, just deal with that. But I thought if I didn't say anything, I'd get a lot of people unsubscribing, and then 3 months from now, something would come out that they would have liked again. All right, cool. Now it's Friday and it's time to get ready for work. Life is good. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. And I do appreciate all the comments and questions. So if you see something that you're not sure what's going on, go ahead and ask me. I'll try to answer it. I do answer as many as I can when I can. I do not have internet access out here. So whenever I go into town, like when I go to work, then I check all my comments on my phone. So if you don't see an answer right away, sorry, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm not yet famous enough to where I can't answer all my comments. All right, cool. Thanks for watching. Until the next one.
Well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, that should work. Cool. I do things differently. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. Thank you so much for watching.